Okay, guten Tag, die Leute. Und heute werden wir über das Essen sprechen und lernen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first German lesson focused on food and drink. So the question on the screen you can see says, Was isst du gern? What do you like to eat? Okay, so we're just going to look at some vocabulary of items of food and drink in German, and we're then going to look at building it into a sentence. So, als erstes, to start with, we have Trauben, Himbeeren, Bonbons, Kartoffeln, Erbsen und Cola. Noch einmal, once more. Trauben, Himbeeren, Bonbons, Kartoffeln, Erbsen und Cola. Okay, have a think about or have a go at pronouncing those words to yourself. Als nächstes haben wir mehrere Wörter. So now we have more words. Küchen, Kaffee, Frühstückflocken, Tee, heiße Schokolade und Pilzen. Küchen, Kaffee, Frühstückflocken, Tee, heiße Schokolade und Pilzen. So again, practicing that vocabulary to yourself and remembering how we pronounce those words. Und als letztes, so lastly, we have the final vocabulary, Brot, Erdbeeren, Chips, Birnen, Kekse und Brotchen. Brot, Erdbeeren, Chips, Birnen, Kekse und Brotchen. So thinking about the pronunciation of that vocabulary and having a go on your own. Okay, you will notice that all of these words on the screen have start with a capital letter, and the reason why is because in German you have to remember that every noun begins with a capital letter. Okay, so when you're using it within a sentence and writing it down, please make sure that that's there in terms of your accuracy. You may, at this stage of the lesson, want to screenshot the vocabulary, just so that you've got it for future reference to come back to, okay, when you need to apply it within a sentence, which is what we're going to be looking at next. So one more time, just going through this vocabulary and the pronunciation. So Trauben, Himbeeren, Bonbons, Kartoffeln, Erbsen, Cola, Küchen, Kaffee, Frühstückflocken, Tee, heiße Schokolade, Pilzen, Brot, Erdbeeren, Chips, Birnen, Kekse und Brotchen. Okay? So, als nächstes. So next on our screen we have essen, which means to eat, and trinken, to drink. They are both infinitive, so they are the full version of the verb. So they are the words that we are going to be looking at or using when we're putting this vocabulary into a sentence. Essen, to eat, trinken, to drink. What we have to do within a language is we have to conjugate them, okay? So what that means is we have to make it relevant to the pronoun. So for example, we have to be able to say I eat, rather than just we won't say or don't say I to eat, okay? So ich esse is I eat. Isst is he eats. Sie isst is she eats. And wir essen is we eat. If you want to turn it into a negative and make it I don't eat, then it would just simply be ich esse nicht. And then it's followed by your item of food or drink. Now we will look at drink in a second. What has to happen, there are groups of verbs in German where you conjugate and you have certain endings that you add. Essen is not regular, and the reason why is because and sie start with an I, so they have a vowel change. That's something that as you develop your German understanding of the language, you will understand better. So, ich trinke for I drink. Trinkt for he drinks. Sie trinkt for she drinks. And wir trinken for we drink. You can see some similarities. So with ich, your verb is ending in e. With and sie, your verb is ending in t. And with wir, your verb ends with en. Okay, have a think about how you would say, I don't drink. And the answer to that would be, ich trinke nicht. Okay, so if we're wanting to add an expression or an opinion, we can use gern for like and nicht gern for don't like. Okay, so if we want to say I like to eat, it would be ich esse gern. I don't like to eat, ich esse nicht gern. We like to eat, wir essen gern. We don't like to eat, wir essen nicht gern. And the same works for trinken. So ich trinke gern, ich trinke nicht gern. Wir trinken gern, wir trinken nicht gern. We can, if we want to, add opinions to describe our view on the item of food or drink. So, den es ist at the top of the screen, underneath where it says die Meinungen, which is opinions. Den es ist means because it is. Or you could use aber es ist, but it is. Be careful when you're using because in German. There are two ways of saying it. We are going to look with den or start with den to start with because it's the more simpler way of using or adding an opinion. Always remember though that with this it's preceded by a comma. So for example, I like to eat bread because it is tasty. So it would be ich esse gern Brot, denn es ist köstlich. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the pronunciation of those adjectives. So we have den es ist, which is because it is, aber es ist, but it is. Lecker auf Englisch ist delicious. Köstlich auf Englisch ist tasty. Ekelhaft auf Englisch disgusting. Gesund, healthy. Süß auf Englisch sweet. Einfach, easy. Ungesund, unhealthy. Herzhaft, hearty. Schmackhaft, tasty. Okay, so thinking about frequency words and adding those into our sentence to make it far more complex. Now, these can either go after the verb or before the verb, okay? So you just need to be a bit careful of your word order with that. In a German sentence, a verb always comes in second position. So, ich esse Brot, I eat bread, and the verb is eat and it's in position number 2. If you want to say, I always eat bread, it would be ich esse immer Brot. Okay. If you're adding a time frame, so for example, every day or sometimes or daily or from time to time or usually, we use a certain technique in German called inversion. And that is where your verb swaps places with your pronoun. So your sentence would sound something like this. Jeden Tag esse ich Brot. You can, if you want to, say ich esse jeden Tag Brot. That absolutely works as well. That's fine. But if you wanted to push yourself in terms of, thinking outside the box and trying to challenge yourself a little bit more, your time frame or your frequency word can come at the beginning, but you need to remember to invert with the verb. So just looking at the pronunciation of those frequency words: immer, oft, nie, manchmal, jeden Tag, täglich, ab und zu, gewöhnlich. Okay, noch einmal, once more. Immer, oft, nie, manchmal, jeden Tag, täglich, ab und zu und gewöhnlich. Okay, so I'm going to give you the opportunity now to have a go at applying what we have talked about. Okay, ihr habt noch 5 Minuten, diese Übung zu machen. So 5 minutes to do this activity. Los! Noch eine Minute, 1 minute left. If you have written down your answers to this activity, then think about the spellings and what we talked about with the previous screen. So every noun in German takes a capital letter at the beginning. So check that that's what you've done. Think about your word order. Have you made sure that you've used a comma before den? Noch 30 Sekunden, 30 seconds. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 und Stopp. Okay, so let's go through the answers. Okay, so wir werden jetzt die Antworten machen. So let's go through the answers and see how we managed to do. So I eat strawberries. Ich esse Erdbeeren. Okay, auf Deutsch, es ist ich esse Erdbeeren. I don't eat bread. So ich esse nicht Brot with a capital B. We like to eat chocolate. Wir essen gern Schokolade. She doesn't eat peas. Sie isst nicht Erbsen. He likes to drink tea. Trinkt gern tea. Tea with a capital T. Okay. She always drinks coffee. Sie trinkt immer Kaffee. I like to eat cake because it is tasty. So we're starting to get a little bit more complex with our sentences in German. Ich esse gern Kuchen, denn es ist köstlich, or you could use schmackhaft if you wanted to. We don't like to drink water, but it is healthy. Wir trinken nicht gern Wasser, aber es ist gesund. Okay, so Wasser for water, Sprudelwasser, S-P-R-U-D-E-L, and then Wasser is sparkling water. Okay, and you should be able to see the spellings on the screen and the accurate translations now. Okay, so applying everything we've talked about from the lesson and thinking about our vocabulary translation for Übung 1, so for activity number 1. Übung 2, activity number 2, so translating into German. Number 3, translating the text, so thinking about what that vocabulary would mean in English. And then correcting the sentences based on the grammar that we have talked about in the lesson. So, ihr habt noch 8 Minuten, diese Übung zu machen. So 8 minutes to do this activity. Noch 3 Minuten, 3 minutes left. So just as a reminder, activity number 1, translating those activities into English. Activity 2, translating the sentences into German. Number 3, translating into English. And number 4, correcting the sentences. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 und Stopp. Okay, so let's go through our answers to the activity. So wir werden jetzt die Antworten machen. So wie sagt man auf Englisch? How do you say in English? Essen ist to eat. Trinken, to drink. Brot, bread. Erbsen, peas. Wasser, water. Pilzen, mushrooms. Kuchen, cake. Bonbons, sweets. Köstlich, tasty. Gesund, healthy. Kaffee, coffee. Milch, milk. Zucker, sugar. Kekse, biscuits. Birnen, pears. Okay, so wie sagt man auf Deutsch? So the sentence is in German. So Übung 2, activity number 2. So I often like to eat sweets, but it is unhealthy. So ich esse oft Bonbons, or ich esse gern oft Bonbons, aber es ist ungesund. We never drink coffee because it is disgusting. Wir trinken niemals, or wir trinken nie Kaffee, denn es ist ekelhaft. He likes to eat bread, but he doesn't eat biscuits. Isst gern Brot, aber isst nicht Kekse. Daily, I drink water because it is healthy. So we can have 2 options here. We can have ich trinke täglich Wasser, denn es ist gesund. Or we can say täglich trinke ich Wasser, denn es ist gesund. Okay, so the translation of the text. So you may want to have a listen to how the pronunciation should sound, then have a go at pronouncing it yourself, okay? So the correct pronunciation, so ich esse gewöhnlich Obst und Gemüse, denn es ist gesund, aber ich trinke nicht gern Sprudelwasser. Ich esse jeden Tag Kekse und Kuchen, aber ich esse nicht weiße Schokolade, denn es ist sehr süß. Auf English, so now in English, I usually eat fruit and vegetables because it is healthy, but I don't like to drink sparkling water. Every day I eat biscuits and cake, but I don't eat white chocolate because it is very sugary. Okay, and then correcting the sentences. So activity number 4, it should be ich, so I-C-H, and then esse with no N on the end, immer, and then Pilzen with a capital P. Wir trinken, with an N on the end. Nie Kaffee, so Kaffee. Mit, and then mit is with, okay, and ohne, OHNE, is without. So Milch, capital M there for the final mistake of that sentence. Sentence C. Sie ist. Now, ist is a verb in German. It means she is. However, we're talking about she likes to eat, so therefore it needs to be a double S. So sie isst gern Küchen, with a K, a capital K, aber es, and we've got a missing word here, a real classic mistake when your brain is thinking kind of, you know, in a lot about the language. It's easy to miss things out. So that's why proofreading things is very important. So sie isst gern Küchen, with a capital K, and ist is ISST, and then aber es ist, and then ungesund. And then finally, als letztes haben wir 4D, so we have 4D. Wir essen, it needs to be a lower case E, okay? A capital E means food in general, so therefore you're using the verb form, and so therefore it's a lowercase e. So wir essen gern, Gern, Trauben, so capital T, Rauben, a comma, okay, so that's a mistake as well. So it needs to be, we've got den, which is next, so it needs to be preceded with a comma. Den is spelt incorrectly, so DENN, so den es ist, and then gesund. Okay. Very well done. If you want to do something now in your spare time, it would be a good idea to learn that vocabulary. Again, you can upload it onto Quizlet. So download the app Quizlet and then upload the vocabulary of items of food and drink in German, and also some of that key vocabulary, i.e. the adjectives and also the frequency words. And that's a nice activity for you to do in your free time. You may also want to think about adding some or making some sentences of your own. Okay, gut gemacht, well done. Dankeschön.